where we try to measure the position of our data, right? Reminder, the first two chapters, 11.1, 11.2, we just try to organize, collect data, organize them, and later on we measure the center of our data. And then last time we tried to measure the spread out of your data, right? Your variance, your standard deviation, and your range, right? So now 11.5, which is we will try to measure the position of your data, which is again the percentile or percentile range is basically tell you how many data are below that particular data, right? So if you were to go take an ACT and the report come back and say you are at the 95 percentile, right, for the math or for the English, you at the 95 percentile, meaning there are 94 people, well 94% of the population, right, of the people who take the test is below you. You are at the 95% mark, right? So for instance, if there's 100 people took the test, 94 of them is below your score if you are 95 percentile, right? I mean, I just use 100 just to make an easy number, right? So this is what we need to do to find a percentile range. This is the first thing we need to do is we need to know how many number less than that individual data, that individual X. We take that number, the number less than X, divided by N, which is the total, and multiply that result to 100, meaning basically because we want to convert back to a percentage, that's why we multiply to 100, right? So again, looking at this thing here, let's take a look at this data, right? Let's take a look at this data, or let's take a look at this problem, which is, again, they say that the weight in pound for the 12 member of the college gymnastic team are below. Find the percentile rank of the gymnast who weighed 97 pounds, right? So looking at this thing here, again, the first thing we need to do is we need to ask ourselves how many data are below 97, right? So again, one thing you can do is you can just go in and say, okay, this number is less than 97, 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 which is, again, if we were to count, you can see that we have 7 data, right? 7 data less than 97, right? Again, you can either go in and identify how many data, or you can go in and basically you can put your data in order, right? Put your data in order and ask yourself, well, if my data is in order and 97 is here, how many data are below 97, which is the same idea, right? We have 2, 4, 6, 7. Regardless of how you do it, you identify the number less than the actual number. You don't include that number, right? That number is not less than that the data. So again, first we need to know the number of data less than the value, which is, again, this is my data. There are 7. Then now all we need to do is take this item, which is, again, the number of data below 97 is 7. And the N is 12, which is now all we need to do is to find the percentile rank is you take 7 divided by 12 and then multiply that to 100, which is, again, if you take 7 divided by 12, you will get 0.58333333 times 100, which will give you 58.33. But reminder, because we try to find a percentile, you have to round to the nearest whole number. Doesn't matter if this is below 5, we will say that, again, if you score 90, not score in this case, if you weight, or the gymnastic weight, whoever weighs 97 pounds, that person is at the 59th percentile. right? So again, looking at this thing here, as you can see, this is, to find the percentile is very doable. As you can see, just find a number less than particular data, divide by the total number of data, and then multiply to 100, okay? So again, let's take a look at another one and then see if we have questions. Let me erase this thing here, which is again same idea, right? Instead of 12 last time, now we have 20, right? And the data they give us is this, which is in the evening statistics class, the age of 20 students are as following. And again, this is your raw data, right? And they ask you what is the percentile rank of the 33 years old student, right? And again, just like before, we can just go in and ask ourselves, well, how many data is below 33, which is, again, we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, right? We can see that if you go in, you can count that there are 12 data below 33, right? And again, or you can go ahead and say, well, let me put this in order. And again, my number 33 is right here. Now let me count how many data below that. Regardless of how you do it, we can see that there are 12 data below the age of 33. And again, you take 12 divided by 20, which is the 20 is the total, which is, again, this is what we have, which is 0.6. And again, 0.6 times 100, meaning, again, the age, whoever age at 33, they are 60 percentile in terms of this item here. Okay, so again, that's how you find the percentile, which is to find the percentile, we need to know the number of data less than the X or the value we're looking for, divide by the total, and again, multiply to 100 to convert back to the percentage. Okay, so question on how to find the percentile rank here, or the percentile. So the other thing we have is this, which is, again, what if they go back, right? What if they don't ask you for the percentile rank, but they ask you what is the corresponding age relate to this percentile? Meaning they give you the percentile and they ask you what is the actual data, right? What is the age correspond to the 20th percentile? So to do this thing here, which is, again, to do this thing here, there are kind of 3 steps, right? There are 3 steps in terms that this is the reversal of the item. Remember, look at this thing up here. We multiply to 100. So to do the reversal of multiplication, the first thing we need to do is we need to take the percent and divide it by 100, right? And again, over here, we divide by n. So once you divide by 100, you need to take that result and multiply back to n. And then again, whatever the result of the second item is, that is how many number is below the actual data, right? So looking at this thing here, if you take this thing here, which is, again, all we do is we take the 20 divided by 100, right? The percentile, which is 20, divide by 100 to give us 0.2. Once you take 0.2, we take the 0.2 and we multiply to n, which is, again, whatever the result of step 1 is, we take that and multiply back to n, which is the total data I have, which is, again, 0.2 times 20 is equal to 4. Again, what is this 4? This 4 is there are 4 data below my given data, right? Because, again, remember the number less than that value. So the value is not at the